All Worked Up is an episode of Arthur that definitely has benefits for the target audience, for children, and also for any parents who may be watching the programme with their child. This is the second segment in the fifth episode of the ninth season, and Arthur's mother is going into Crown City every day for a couple of weeks to work in an office. She's got an opportunity to, well, it's kind of implied that she'll make a lot of money from this, and she goes in every day, but that means that she's going to have to not be around as much during the day. And that means that their father is in charge. And it's definitely a great way of highlighting that one parent is kind of the glue that holds the family together, and Arthur's school lunches are very different and a lot more creative, and he's lost his homework streak. He was doing really well at school, had a great streak of great grades, and because of the worry and anxiety that he feels that because his mother's not around as much, his grades begin to slip, and DW's just traumatized by the fact that her mother's not around. And then their mother gets a haircut, which seems like an insignificant thing. But when your mother's been one way for your entire life, and all of a sudden they change something about them and they look different, coupled with the fact that she's acting different because she's going out to work every day rather than working from home, panic sets in. And something's shaking the status quo, and Arthur in particular doesn't like it, and everything's just topsy-turvy. And there's a moment where Arthur kind of divulges all of these emotions to his mother, and she has to kind of stop and think, is this the right decision? And I'm not going to say what happens exactly. I'm glad that she didn't just throw the towel in completely and give up with things because her children need her, because I think when you're in a family, you have to learn to adapt. If Arthur or DW wanted to do an after school club, she'd have to adapt her schedule to take them. So they have to kind of learn to adapt to her new schedule. But it's about understanding each other's emotions and being aware that if something changes in the family dynamic, especially for younger children who are perhaps, not fully versed in the world and not really comfortable with change, or anybody who's not comfortable with change, it can be a really difficult experience. Arthur and DW have a really sweet moment where Arthur actually invites DW to help him with something. And it doesn't really explain what he's doing in any great detail, but I gather what he's doing is trying to answer questions within a 10-second timer. And I've never thought of that as an educational prompt, but I think that's a pretty interesting thing to start considering. If you're trying to remember something, see how long it takes you to be able to get it in 10 seconds. And I think that's just some good food for thought there. But DW and Arthur help each other, or DW helps Arthur in this beautiful moment. And their mother also has to think about the bigger picture. And I just think ultimately everything worked out well. I won't say exactly what happened or how, but I think everybody watching it, whether you're the parent or the child, it can definitely just make you think about the family dynamic and make sure that everybody's happy with everything. And if they're not happy, at least try and comfort them. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to change things back to the way they were, but you need to be aware that maybe some people are struggling with it and need a little bit of extra support to get them used to the new situation. It's a good episode. It's very well told. I think it's a very emotive episode. I think it's something that a lot of people can probably relate to, and it's one that I rather enjoyed.